Deciding to get a dog was not a decision that I took lightly, and although I knew that adding a whole new creature to my world would change it, I guess I never really understood how much. Every morning, when I open my eyes, he is the first one I see. When I go to sleep, he is the last one I say goodnight to. I see him more than any human person in my life. Because of this, our bond is different than any bond I've experienced before. When I was getting a dog, I expected to get a smaller, friendly dog that I could take on adventures. After 6 months of visiting different shelters, doing research on different breeds, and talking with friends and family, I found nothing. But one random Wednesday, I decided to swing by the shelter, and I met the one and only Angry Bird. And he hated me. I sat in the greeting room until the shelter closed, letting this dog bark at me while I stayed totally still. I knew he was the one. This was my dog. Then I came back the next day to visit him again. After 30 minutes of him barking and me begging them to let me stay with him another 10, he finally let down his walls and crawled into my lap. That was when I met Goby. The shelter immediately let me take him. They said our progress was pretty fast, all things considered. I wanted a friendly dog to take on adventures. I left with a skittish creature that had a long bite record and an even longer path to understanding my world. Or at least, that was what I thought at first. Goby was scared of everything, and on our first month or two of walks, most of the time was spent holding him in my arms, comforting him until he felt safe to walk again. I remember trying to leash train Goby when I first got him. I was so frustrated that he didn't respond well to discipline. I tried disciplining him more. I was so frustrated by his fear, his unwillingness to trust, that I punished him when he didn't understand what he had done wrong. You have 2.5 seconds after the action to punish a dog. If you do it any later, they won't connect the punishment to the action. They won't understand. Punishing Goby for pulling on a leash was so stupid and abstract. It came from a place of anger and frustration. It was an action fueled by my ego, my need to have a controlled dog that doesn't pull. I had done lots of dog training with my family dogs in the past, so when I got my own dog, I never expected so much of the training to be confronting my own flaws, grappling with my own ego. I have learned a few things in the 6 months that I've lived with Goby. He loves rewards, and unless it's about biting or trying to steal food, punishments almost never work with him. I have learned that I'm quicker to anger than I thought in the past, and that anger is quickened even more when I try and process everything through how it relates to me. Sometimes training Goby looks like perfect heels, fun adventures, and lots of treats. Other times, it looks like pulling random cigarette butts out of his mouth and just trying to stop him from barking at everyone who passes by. But I now know the frustration and embarrassment that I sometimes feel while training him is not a reflection of his progress, and a few deep breaths can do wonders for the mind. Goby is a completely different dog from the one I took home from the shelter. He is so brave, and he has seen so much. Goby is a college dog. He climbs mountains, meets giant beasts, knows what a hangover is, has found trust, and he has a giant family. Goby still pulls on his leash, he still barks, and on the very rare occasion, he even tries to bite. But it's not like it was 6 months ago. These reactions are the shadows of a past life. A dog whose name I will never know. And every day, as the sun gets higher, the shadows get more and more narrow. I know that while Goby's growth is partly the months of training and work that I have put in, it's mostly him. Goby's life is his. I'm here, but his life, his journey, his being, those are all for him. Thank you so much, Goby, for biting my ego and allowing me to be a part of your great adventure.